Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my top 15 Amazon home finds from 2024. These are some of my must-have home tools or things that I brought into my home to just enhance my experience here at home. There are many things that I buy locally, but my local is not the same as your local. So to make things easy and accessible across the board, these are easy finds on Amazon. Most of them are going to be like under $10, under $20, and they're things that I found really valuable and some of the things that have become my must-haves inside of my home. I have no affiliation with any of these people. I did put the Amazon affiliate link down in the description if there's anything you're interested in. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing is an electric scrubber. This is the base of it, and it comes with all of these different attachments. And I usually don't buy things like this. I'm usually very basic and simple. I'll use my magic eraser, but I take a lot of baths, oil and salt baths, so it can get really grimy afterwards. And I absolutely hate like having to bend over the side of the bathtub and scrub it out. So this one is what I usually use to be able to get the corners of the bathtub. This one I've used to get the grime out from around the stove where food and little crumbs can squeeze in there and sometimes get really stuck. Great for getting cracks and crevices. Woolly pads, that car cloth material, a flat round scrubber that you can use on just about anything, a soft fuzzy buffer, a dish sponge material, and a small round bit. So again, it comes like this, and then you just have this little attachment piece that just clips on. Plop these, and you can just change them out so easily. There are some that have their own head connection, so you don't actually need to use this connector for those. You can just plop them right on there directly. And I'm not sure why they decided to make a voice with it. Really wasn't necessary, but it does have one. You turn it on, it's got a little digital screen, and it will talk to you. Low battery. It doesn't need to have the voice. I wish that it didn't have the voice, but this thing works. And it comes with an extension pole that can clip to the bottom of it here, which is what I use whenever I'm scrubbing out the bath, so I don't have to lean over at all. Pretty cool piece of equipment. On a similar note, the next thing that I got was a telescoping squeegee. We live in a tri-level condo, and being able to reach the outside upper windows or even the second level windows was impossible. I don't think that we've actually washed the outside of the windows since we've been living here, and it's been 5 years. So I went and I got this telescoping squeegee, and it comes with different heads that Velcro onto the ends, similar to the scrubber, but it wraps around. And then it comes with all of these extension poles. This thing reaches 20 feet and has 3 different pads. I went crazy with this thing. It's cleaned the windows so well. Like they're glassy, clear. I could see my bird feeder right on the other side of the window. We'll get to that in a second. And it was so satisfying that I was actually looking around for more windows. This thing is $5.59 on Amazon. And it has brought me more joy to my day-to-day life, I swear. I will sit there in the dining room just staring at this. It suction cups to your window, and it holds a bird feeder. The hummingbirds are coming right up to the window in the dining room, and I will just sit there and stare at them for like every meal or while I'm sipping my coffee. I'll try to see how close I can get up to the window to be able to see them really close. Fun fact, I had no idea that hummingbirds have a really long tongue that they do their drinking from. You can watch slow motion videos of it. It's really interesting. I'm telling you, I've become like a crazy bird lady. So much so that I went and got these curtain draw beads, which are magnetic, to be able to keep the heavy curtains in the living room from hiding my 2 bird feeders that I have out on the front balcony now. So I've now got 3 different bird feeders. I have really thick gray blackout curtains that are heavy, and so they kind of block my bird feeder. And these are just so easy to put on and take off. Like they can take them off and wrap them around the back door. It'll stick to anything that's magnet. And I think these were like maybe $7. So again, not very expensive. But they feel like they're good quality. Like it's a really soft wood. The magnets are really sturdy and strong. It's held together really well. So I like them. I finally got some outdoor string lights for the deck. And I have a simple black chair. I'm really happy with the way that it looks now. I feel like for a while I just didn't have a clue what to do with this tiny space, but the lights just add such a nice ambiance to it. The problem was that we didn't have a plug. We still don't have a plug on the back patio area. So before we would have to leave the door cracked a little bit and feed the cord in and remember to plug it in and unplug it when we were wanting to use it, which rarely happen. So I finally went and got some solar string lights to put out there. It's got a little solar panel that has been working. Even in the Portland overcast weather, they still come on at nighttime. I love things that I don't have to think about and that just add a nice little background ambiance. We got this very cool indoor play gym type of situation for Chloe. She's about to turn 2 actually this week. She wants to have things to climb on. She wants to be able to just constantly have some kind of physical activity going on. It is so versatile. It's like a 7-in-1. It's got an arch that has a cushion. The cushion comes with it. And so she can use that as a rocker to rock back and forth, or she can flip it over and it can attach to one of the boards, which has 2 sides to it. One side is a smooth slide. The other side has some little rock climbing wood pieces. And then it's got a pikeler triangle at the other end. It's just been a really cool thing that doesn't take up much space. It doesn't draw too much attention or look junky, but she's able to just like play on it constantly. When I got it, I think it was just under $100. Right now, I think it's just over $100, but not much more. I bought some new pieces of art to go in the living room and in the hallway downstairs. For the longest time, I literally just had my one picture, which I had painted myself, and it was very simple, just like streaks across of blue and gray. And I finally decided that I just wanted to have a little more decoration. But finding frames to go with it was the hardest part. Those frames are very expensive. So I had ordered several different picture frame options that I ended up returning, and finally I got something that I was actually happy with. So I felt like I should mention that today since I went through so much effort and trouble in finding something that worked. The ones that I ended up with were these 20 by 28 inch natural wood grain picture frames. You can see the brand and everything. It has great reviews on it down in the description. These come with a 1-pack for $27 or $28, which to me still sounded more expensive than what I was expecting. But compared to all of the other options out there and the value on both sides, I think that it's definitely one of the most affordable for the value that you're getting. One of my least favorite things about my living room was that I had this giant coffee table, which I've said many times, I don't really use a coffee table. So we had it in use as an entertainment center. It went in front of the TV, but the TV was mounted on the wall behind it or above it. Because it was a coffee table and it wasn't an official entertainment center, it stuck out too far for what it needed to be in that space. And it kind of infringed on the couch space. And every time I was in there, it just felt like it was a little bit wonky. But I brought in a more official entertainment center, something that was small, but that had cabinetries that we could use for Chloe's toys. This so far has worked out really well. She hasn't been able to pull it on top of herself, which was something I was worried about. Another issue that we had with the coffee table is because coffee tables tend to be lower to the ground. She was constantly standing on it, and then she was able to reach the TV. Well, this other one comes up higher so that she is not able to climb on it. So for us, it has been a really great swap, but the piece of furniture itself, I feel like is really nice. It's kind of old school vibes. It's by Nathan James and it runs like $189, $190 on Amazon. Next up, I got these velvet washcloths, is what they're called on the website, but basically it's like microfiber washcloths. And I got these for taking off my makeup because I wanted something that was gentler on my face. My oldest daughter, who's now 18, had told me that there's a big thing going around on TikTok about using microfiber to take off your makeup with just the rag itself without needing any makeup remover, and it really does work pretty well. I've had these for over 6 months now, and I'm really surprised at how well they've held up. They even have like little kind of wavy edges, and those haven't frayed or messed up at all, and they've been used a lot and washed, and they're so soft and kind of bouncy that I would even use these when I was having to use my knee crutch, my peg leg, to get around. It was putting so much pressure on my knee that I would roll these up and put it under my knee, and it added really nice cushion. But these things are like just under $12, so they're not expensive. I know it gives you a lot. I have been able to disperse them between the different bathrooms, but right now these are like the only washcloths that I'm using. I've always been a fan of the robo vacuums. I haven't shied away from that. I love them because I hate to vacuum, and so I run robo vacuums every day. And I've tried many different kinds. I've tried the Eufy brand, which I was really satisfied with as well. Ultenic was the last one I had, but this one is the Narwhal Frio X Plus. And so it does vacuuming and mopping. And unlike the Ultenic that I had before, which just kind of dripped water steadily as it went and just ran over it with its mop pad, this one has a little more twisting action, and it actually has controlled sprayers for the mop fluid. But the vacuuming is the suction power is what really sold me on it, because it has 7,800 PA suction power, which doesn't mean a whole lot to me until I go and compare it to the suction power of the other ones that I've had and some suction power of other really high name brands. And then seeing it in action, like it really does a good job. We now have one upstairs and one downstairs. And you can kind of see, this is the one upstairs. It's already full, but it has this compression power. So it like pushes all of the stuff over to one side, which makes the canister last. It's supposed to be up to 7 weeks without being emptied, but with Charlie, we have to empty ours probably once a week, I would say, which is still better than previously when we were having to empty it after every use. It's been a really good one for us. It hasn't been perfect, and I say that because the first one that we got, the bumpers, the side bumpers stopped working on it, and so it constantly thought that it was stuck in something. So we ended up having to send that back for repairs. One of them, the water tank, actually it's this one. You notice the water tank's not in it because one of the screws somehow rusted on the bottom and it got a little crack in the water tank. So it hasn't been a flawless experience, but where we are right now, with the way that it's vacuuming and the way I'm able to set up the schedule, and when I'm not home, I pull up the app and the app works perfectly. I haven't had any issues at all with the app or with the vacuuming abilities. I'm really happy with it. So under $400, some of these vacuums get like $1,300, which to me is insane. Like, it matters a lot to me. It's really beneficial to me to have something that will vacuum the floors for me. But at some point it's like, okay, well, how much is it really worth? I've seen people use like coffee table books before as decor, and it never really occurred to me to do something like that. I don't know why. It just seems like a book that I'm not reading, although I actually do intend to read all of these books too. This is Minimalista, which I've heard of before. I've seen it a lot on Instagram. This is Home by Natalie Walton, which I've heard of and it had great reviews. So I'm really interested to read that one. And then Homebody, of course, by Joanne Gaines. I've seen that all over the place. And these are just really beautiful. So for right now, they're working great for home decor and for things, you know, for people to browse through when they're in the living room. But when I actually do read these, which it's probably going to be the beginning of 2025. I've already read 20 books this year, and I'm currently in the middle of a series, so it's probably going to be a January read situation for me, but I'll be sure to let you know what the content inside the books actually looks like. But in the meantime, I do like having things that have some kind of functionality. Having a book that you can browse through, it just adds a little functionality to your decor. But it's probably one of my favorite pieces of decor at the moment is just having these pretty coffee table books. And for another piece of decor that I got this year, this vase was purchased on February 14th. If that tells you anything. Matt had brought home some flowers for me, and then we realized that we don't actually have a vase that could hold the flowers. I tried pulling out some of the old glass milk jars that wasn't big enough to hold all the flowers that he had brought, so I went on there and ordered whatever vase I could get that looked nice by the next day because I didn't want the flowers to go bad. And we ended up with this thing, and this has been great. I've actually used it for several different floral occasions since then. You can see right now it's actually been used with like pampas grass and bunny's tail, some of my faves, and so it's still being actively used as decor. But if somebody were to bring me flowers at some point and I need a vase, I could also just take these out and use this one because it has a nice, decent size mouth hole. The feel is kind of like rough ceramic, and it was under $17. Last but not least, I had these bottom watering flower pots in my desperate attempt to find some way to stop killing my plants. I would either overwater or underwater, and so I got these that I don't have to worry about it at all because I just water it from the bottom once the bottom runs out of water. And these have actually, look at these, I have plants that are alive, that have been alive for many months now. It's incredible. This particular set that I got was a set of 5 of different sizes. It was a 5-inch, 5.5, 6, 6.5, and 7 for $15. So this bottom part unscrews. Little bits of rope down here goes up and through the soil, and so it's able to suction up the water from this little bottom cup piece. So this is where I'm keeping the majority of my plants are in one of these bottom water things, and so far it's worked really well for me. So those are my 15 top home purchases that I've made from Amazon in 2024, things that have helped me to either clean, maintain, or enhance my home in some way. Hopefully you found them useful, maybe you found some ideas for Christmas or something that you think could help to enhance your own home. Just a little housekeeping note, Kath Younger, who offers the digital clutter course that I've recommended many times before because I took it myself, she is offering a Black Friday special for 50% off using my link in the description. That will only be available until December 2nd. I'll see you next time.